What if you weren't alone in your house, even when the doors were locked? This is not just a scary thought. For some people, it has really happened. If you ever thought you were hearing things, footsteps, whispers, or creaking floors, you might want to stay until the end of this story, because what you're about to hear may keep you up tonight. I found a stranger in my house. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like someone was watching you? Not just in a weird way, but in a cold, spine-chilling way? What if I told you that feeling wasn't just in your head? I'm 19 and live with my mom in a quiet town in Oregon. We had one grocery store, one gas station, and lots of trees. Nothing much ever happened here. It's the kind of place where people leave their doors unlocked and everyone knows everyone. Stick around till the end of this story because what happened to me will make you double-check every lock in your house tonight. My name is Jake. At least, that's what I used to think. I had just gotten home from my part-time job at the local pizza place. It started on a Friday evening in October. My mom was working the night shift at the hospital, so I had the house to myself. I was planning on watching some horror movies, eating leftover wings, and falling asleep on the couch like always, but things didn't go that way. I remember walking through the front door and feeling weird, the kind of weird you can't explain. The lights were off, and the house felt colder than usual. But now, the bolt was halfway turned, and the door was cracked open just a little. I grabbed my food, turned on a movie, and tried to forget about it. I thought maybe my mom forgot to turn the heat on, so I didn't think much of it at first. I dropped my bag by the door, kicked off my shoes, and went into the kitchen. That's when I noticed something strange. The back door, the one that leads to our yard, was unlocked. I was sure I locked it that morning before school. I always do. It's one of those habits you don't forget. My stomach turned. I walked over slowly, shut it, and locked it tight. Then I checked all the other doors and windows. Everything else was locked. I laughed to myself nervously. Maybe Mom forgot to close it all the way. Maybe I was overthinking. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Halfway through the movie, I heard a sound. A soft creak from upstairs. I paused the TV. The house was silent. Then I heard it again. Creak, creak, like footsteps. I sat frozen on the couch. The remote slipped from my hand and hit the floor with a thud. I told myself it was just the house settling. Old houses make noises. Nothing to worry about. But the sounds didn't stop. They got louder, closer. Someone was walking upstairs. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. Slowly, I crept toward the stairs. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. "Hello?" I called out. "Mom, are you home?" No answer. The flashlight shook in my hand. Step by step, I climbed the stairs. All the bedroom doors were open except mine. When I reached the top, the hallway was empty. It was shut tight. I hadn't closed it that morning. I walked over and placed my hand on the knob. My palm was sweaty. I turned it slowly. Creak. The door opened just a little. My desk had my laptop and headphones on it. My hoodie was on the chair. I pushed it wider. My room looked normal. Nothing out of place. My bed was messy, but something felt wrong. I stepped inside and turned on the light. Then I saw it. I didn't want to believe what I was seeing, but I knew. A shoe. Not my shoe. A black boot. Muddy. Sitting halfway under my bed. My mouth went dry. My legs felt like jelly. I backed away slowly, not taking my eyes off that boot. Someone was hiding under my bed. They're in my room. Please, hurry. Someone was in my house. I grabbed my phone and ran outside into the freezing night. I ran. I bolted down the stairs, skipped steps, and nearly tripped over the last one. My hands shook as I called 911. The operator picked up, and I could barely get the words out. There's someone in my house. Police came within 10 minutes. It felt like hours. They searched the house with flashlights and dogs. I waited outside, wrapped in a blanket one of the officers gave me. When they came back out, their faces were serious. One officer pulled me aside. "We found someone under your bed," he said. It was a man. Dirty clothes, scruffy beard, wild eyes. He had a small knife in his pocket and duct tape in his bag. He didn't say a word the whole time they arrested him. Later, the police told us he had broken into another house earlier that week. He'd been sleeping in abandoned sheds, sneaking into people's homes when they weren't there. They said if I had gone to sleep that night, things could have ended very differently. I didn't sleep for days. We installed cameras, changed the locks, got a security system, and I still wake up sometimes thinking I hear footsteps upstairs. So now, every night before I sleep, I check every door, every window, every room, and I always look under the bed. Because now I know, sometimes the scariest things don't come from the outside. They're already inside. Let me know if you're ready for the next 1,000 words, or if you'd like me to continue this one further to hit the full 3,000 word mark. You said, next. ChatGPT said, updated saved memory great. Let's continue. Part 2. The stranger was still there. My body told me to run, but my legs wouldn't move. I kept hearing the slow creak of a floorboard upstairs. It wasn't just in my head. Someone was up there. My heart beat so fast it felt like it would explode. I stood frozen in the hallway. She told me to stay on the line and to stay somewhere safe. Then another. The floor above me creaked again. Police are on the way, she said. Stay calm. I hid in the pantry and locked the door behind me. It was small and dark. I could barely breathe. Slowly, carefully, I walked backward into the kitchen, trying not to make a sound. My phone was charging on the counter. I finally moved. I grabbed it with shaky hands and dialed 911. My voice was a whisper, too quiet. I covered my mouth to keep from screaming. The sounds came fast, heavy boots on the stairs, moving fast. I knew the stranger was coming down. I didn't hear footsteps anymore. There's someone in my house, I told the operator. She asked me for my address and I gave it to her quickly. A minute passed. Then, silence. The operator kept talking to me, but something felt wrong. And then, bang, a loud slam, like a door being kicked open. Then everything went quiet again. I waited. I shook my head even though they couldn't see me. I didn't say a word. And then I heard it, breathing, right outside the pantry door, whoever it was. They knew I was inside. Come out, a voice whispered. It was deep and cold.
I saw you walk in. I just want to talk, the voice said again. That was a lie, a sick lie. Suddenly, the doorknob moved. He was trying to get in. I pushed my back hard against the door. My legs were shaking, my eyes filled with tears, loud and close. The man ran. I heard him bolt through the hallway. Then the back door slammed open. I stayed hidden until I heard the police shouting inside the house. Police, come out with your hands up. A few minutes later, they opened the pantry. I came out crying and shaking. They didn't catch the man. He was gone. Let me know if you'd like me to continue with part 3, the final section of the story, you said. Next, ChatGPT said, part 3, I never slept the same again. Length approximately 1,000 words. Written in 8th grade English. Chilling conclusion. The police stayed for hours. They checked every room, every corner, every inch of the house. But the man was gone. He had broken the lock on the basement window to get in. That window was small, barely enough space for a person to crawl through. But he did it. That's how he got inside my home. It was like he had disappeared into thin air. So I went to a hotel just a few blocks away. I couldn't sleep. Every small noise made me jump. Every knock, every creak, Every gust of wind outside the window made my heart stop. They found the back door wide open. The police told me to stay with family or friends for the night. But I didn't have anyone close by. I kept thinking about that voice at the pantry door. I saw you walk in. I just want to talk. Who says something like that in someone else's home? Like it had been touched by something dark. But the third day, I forced myself. I couldn't live in fear forever, right? They said the man probably wore gloves. I noticed a few small things had been moved, nothing stolen, just touched. My books on the shelf, my shoes near the door, a coffee cup turned upside down. The next morning, I went back to the house with an officer. It felt so strange walking inside, like it wasn't mine anymore. They dusted for fingerprints but didn't find anything clear. He wasn't just in the house. He had been watching me. I locked every door, checked the cameras 3 times, left the lights on, studying me, maybe for days. That thought made me sick. I packed some clothes and stayed at the hotel again that night. I didn't want to go home. I didn't feel safe. I changed the locks. I nailed the basement window shut. I bought a new alarm system. I even installed cameras around the house. But none of that could erase what had happened. That night, I tried to sleep in my own bed. And still, I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., I heard it again. A creak, this time from the hallway. I jumped up and looked at the camera on my phone. It showed nothing. Every room was still empty. But I swear I heard breathing. I grabbed a flashlight and walked slowly toward the hallway. My heart pounded with the flashlight shook in my hand. I opened the door, nothing. No one was there. But taped to the wall was a small, yellow sticky note. I froze. It wasn't mine. I hadn't put it there. I slowly reached out and peeled it off the wall. It said, "You sleep so soundly." Again, no sign of forced entry, no fingerprints, no clue. My hands went cold. I called the police again. They searched everything. I couldn't do it anymore. I sold it and moved to another city. A big apartment building. High-floor security cameras. Neighbors close by. The only thing they could say was, I double-check every lock, every night. I keep a baseball bat by the bed. I haven't felt truly safe in months. He might have had a key. But how? I had changed the locks. After that, I left the house for good. Still, I don't sleep well. Because sometimes, when it's really quiet and I'm just about to fall asleep, I hear it again, a whisper, breathing that isn't mine, and I wonder if I ever really escaped. If this story made you check under your bed, if it made you double lock your doors tonight, then you know the fear is real. Subscribe to Shadow Tale for more true horror stories that will crawl under your skin and live in your mind. And remember, the next sound you hear in the dark might not be the house set it like. Come in and share. If you're brave enough,